We all want to be bigger, don't we? Don't we feel like there's a part of us that's bigger than what we are right now, that holds a greater expression? And we have that great desire to do that, don't we? And then we wake up every day and we just tend to do the same thing. You know, we're good. Don't think you're not good. We're good. We're good. We do good things. We're sending love to the world. We're out there praying and working and being happy. And yeah. But there's just this energy that we drag with us. It's this energy of who we have been, how we see ourselves, and it's just with us all the time. And that makes these great dreams that we have a little bit more difficult to bring in. You know, they used to call it baggage. When you first hit metaphysics, you always learned about how much baggage were you carrying with you. Well, energetically, we have thoughts and beliefs and stuff that's with us all the time. So what I wanted to talk with you about today is renewing. It allows us the opportunity to move into a space where we can maybe let a little of the baggage go and maybe find a little bit more energy to invest in what we do want to manifest. So renew actually means to make new. It means to revive or to make live again, to restore life or consciousness, or to restore effectiveness. You want to restore some effectiveness? Yeah. Think about when you have you're doing some cleaning in your house and you find all these things that you haven't used in a while and you want to renew them. What's the first thing you do? You get them out, you clean them up, all the dust, rust, or whatever's gathered on them. Then you think about, how can I use this differently or again? And then we go to the idea of repurposing. You know, a teapot may become a vase. You know, old antique might become a decoration. But we clean it first. We take all the history out of it. We redefine it, and then we repurpose it. Well, that's what we need to be doing in our lives as well. First step in your personal life, realizing that it might be time to clean. It might be time to release some history. It might be time to let a few things go that no longer serve you. So, how we interact with the outer binds our expression. Let's just start with the big one. How you interact with the outer binds your expression. Is that simple to understand? Yeah. Okay. I'm looking for light bulbs. The obligations that you carry to your outer world keep how you express in bondage to that. You're going to do this in a certain way. You're going to have this relationship in a certain way. You're going to do your work. You're going to show up at this time. Do you understand? These obligations of our relationship to the outer keep us from freely expressing ourselves. They keep us in this state of carrying old patterns and old energy. Spirit said the obligation to matter must be interrupted. It doesn't need to be done away with, but if we're going to change it, we have to interrupt it. Easy? Yeah. We have to interrupt the natural responses that we have, because an obligation means that your choice to act in a certain way has already been made. Whenever you lose your choice, you lose your spontaneity. I've already chosen to act in a certain way. Whenever I lose my choice, I lose my spontaneity. When I lose my spontaneity, what else do I lose? My individual creative expression. Now, right now, you're feeling good, right? Everybody got up, everybody came to church, and every one of you came by choice, and I know that. We are not a church that can cajole you into making a commitment to come every Sunday, because it has to be your choice. It has to be your choice. But I want you to think about your days. How much of your days become that obligatory showing up for assignments, for tasks, for the work? And how much of you feels freedom to move? How much wiggle room do you give yourself of maybe doing it a little differently? All right. If we're caught in this obligation, we're bound. When I counsel people, this is just to help you see it a little bit more clearly. When I counsel people and I hear yes, but, you know what they're really saying to me? They're saying, I am stuck in the pattern where I've taken away my choice. And then they'll say, yes, but you don't understand. And they're really saying, I know you can see things from a different perspective, but I've already chosen to stay stuck here until something changes. And I can't make it change, because I've already invested my choice in this situation. Yes, but you don't understand, and yes, but. How often do those phrases come out of our mouths? And that says, my choice is stuck here. I've already chosen and I have no wiggle room. Now, am I happy with my choice? And you can ask yourself, maybe this makes me absolutely tickled to pink. But if it doesn't, you want to be looking at it a little bit. Choices always need to be present. It's amazing when you wake up every day and say, I choose to go to work. I choose to do this. I choose to do that. Instead of I have to. How many wake up and go have tos? Instead of I choose. All right. So how do we get into this space that allows us to shift? If we're bound in our relationship to the outer, we have to take a moment to release this relationship. Sometimes we do little simple things. You could have days of choosing not to choose. If all your choices are already locked up anyway. If you took a day just to say, I'm not going to choose anything today, what are you unhooking? All choices you've ever made, and you get to watch the world around you roll by. And you get to relate to it. Now that's a pretty crazy idea, isn't it? I know it is. You could never hold that frequency. I'm not going to choose anything today. I'm just going to watch the world go by me and see how I relate to it. And then I'm going to flow with it. Yeah, not our human nature. What most of us tend to do when we want to interrupt the pattern is we give ourselves something else to do. We'll try not to watch TV for a few days. Has anybody tried that? We'll try not to talk. One day I was so inspired, I wasn't going to speak for 3 days. I was going to take this moment of silence for 3 days. And so I began my days of silence, and I think I made it to day 2, and I realized when Patrick wasn't there, I'm talking to the cat. You know? Sage, get out of my way. Oh no, I'm speaking. So I totally failed. So what Spirit was saying, that in order to interrupt this outer pattern, it's really better to let it unwind than to impose new ones on it. Let it unwind, letting our relationship with the outer unwind. How does that feel? For some people it feels like going out of control. For some it feels like relaxation. But just letting it unwind. Unwinding allows us to rebuild. You know, it can be done many different ways. Sometimes you can just immerse yourself in a different culture. Go someplace you've never been before. And I mean just for the day. Go to a new place, a new adventure. You could take a vacation to a new place. We took the trip to Turkey. Don't you think that undid our relationship with the outer? 22 of us landed and one person spoke the language. And we're all relating to a new world, a new energy, new people, new food, new time. We didn't even get up at the same time, 4 in the morning, 6 in the morning. It was a total new opportunity to relate with the outer differently. And maybe you don't want to do that, but you can always do something to shift your environment. Even if you just shifted the terrain for a day, it would shift your mind to look at things differently. Any place where you go where you can make a choice. For us, and a lot of us will be doing it right now, is this vacation idea. Going away, getting away from it all. Does everybody have something planned? Do you realize how many go away to get away from it all and don't? Get away from it all? We keep doing what we've always done, filling the days with activities, having the same relationship with the kids and the spouse and everything that we always had. We just put it in a different location. But I want you to think about maybe actually using the vacation time that's coming up for you as a time for renewal, as a time for unwinding, as a time for looking at the outer differently. You go with that intention, don't you? And then you're snapping at them and doing that, and this is not working. And think about setting a space where you could go to the unwind space. All right. We did recently, as you know, we just got back from Florida, and we were told when we went, this is a place where there's absolutely nothing to do. Nothing to do. And we're like, great, that's great. And I was good with that after I got over the shock that there's no cell phones there either. So totally cut off. No cell phones, no internet was functioning for a day, and it was quite shocking. But it allowed us to be still. And then Patrick and I, by choice, spent the next few days with no TV, just meditating, praying, going out, sitting on the beach, meditating, going into the waves, which knocked us off our feet. Every day they were, and I was praying a lot in the water as well. And then coming back and resting. And things started to unwind. And the wonderful thing happens when you start to unwind. You start to go through a healing process. For many of us, it's, you see all the things you've been doing wrong. Oh, goodness gracious. Isn't healing fun? So we look at all the things that we need to release, all the things that don't serve us anymore, all the things that no longer are going to fit in our new outer relationship. But in this space, it's a very gentle wash. You can let it go. I don't think I want to do that anymore. You let it go. And everything starts to unwind. And you know what happens when you're at the unwind point? You're sitting with all these little building blocks of you. To me, they look like little crystal tiles, all colorful, all on the floor around me. They're like the spiritual DNA building blocks of my world. And they're in disarray. Who am I if I'm not in this relationship with the outer world? Oh my gosh, I'm all these colorful building blocks, all scattered. And then you get to go into phase 2. You get to redesign. What of this beautiful talent do I want to do over here? What do I want to do here? And we get to rebuild the essence of who we are in a way that is not bound by obligations to the outer world. Do you hear me? All right. When we were there, we got a landline connection, and my son happened to call. And we chatted for a minute, and it was fun. And got off the phone with him, and this country song started coming down. You know, I started channeling this country tune, and it was really cute, because my son's a cute country dude, and something he said just triggered it, and I'm just channeling this cute little country song. I said, Patrick, I'm getting a song. Okay, great. Not unusual. He didn't even ask to hear it. He didn't care. So we go to this little restaurant, bar spot, and there were these 2 young men playing their original music. And I was just loving them. They were fabulous and wonderful. And their songs were so complicated. Verbiage complicated. Do you know what I'm saying? The songs of today, they're very complex. And just adored them. Then we went back to the little bungalow where we were staying, and I looked at my very simple song. And I went, oh, this is really simple. And for a minute, I got this vision of my building blocks and taking my little songwriting building block and letting it go to the universe, because it wasn't good enough. It didn't, I don't want to judge it. It was simple. It was just so simple. You know, it was simple. So I sat with it for a minute and I went, no, absolutely not. Give me that building block back. And I put in the center of my new DNA structure the right to let my simplicity be creatively expressed. the right to let the simple song come through me. Whether it does anything but make me smile, doesn't matter. And I felt like, that's me. This is me. It's a part of me. And so I started rearranging the tiles, the beautiful little crystalline, colorful tiles. And I made a lot of decisions about myself, which I won't bore you with. But I was able to redesign what I want the next leg of my journey to look like. But it came on the heels of unwinding how I thought I needed to respond to the outer world. Release and redesign. And I wanted to tell you guys, every time Jesus Christ shifted his world, do you know what he did? He went apart. He went apart. When he was a young man, he was 12 years old, and he went to learn all that he could learn in all the various countries. And he was there for years. We know he was in his mid-20s when he came back. He learned, he shared. He learned, he shared. He learned, he did a little healing, a little teaching, and he shared. He came back to his mom in his hometown to rest, to rejuvenate. And he stayed in prayer until he got his next redesign of what he would do. And you know what he did next? He went to Egypt to go into the mystery schools to learn who he was. And he was there for many years. And in the mystery schools, he did not teach. He did not heal. And he did not preach. He learned what they could teach, and he refined his human nature for years. For years. And when he was finished with that, when he knew he was ready to start a new mission greater than he had been, he left Egypt and he came to Israel, and he had the wilderness experience. Because he was ready to now teach his people, ready to now teach as the rabbi, to stand forth as teacher. He had not been rabbi before. And he said in the wilderness, and if you've studied the wilderness experience and read it, the first thing he did was disconnect with his relationship with the outer and start building and redefining who he was going to be in his next phase. And then he had his first year with all of his disciples, and at the end of the first year, they all went home and he rested. Then he had his second year with all of his disciples, and at the end of the second year, he sent them out 2 by 2. And what did he do? He went to the water. He went to be with God at the water, because the third year was big. You know what he did on the third year? That was the year that he would go through the death, burial, resurrection, and ascension. Don't you think he needed to redesign a little bit? Don't you think he needed to release the idea of rabbi teacher and embody the idea of Christ demonstration? And he went to the sea. They say that he walked by the sea to meditate. He wanted to be with the great Spirit of God. And then he walked through the valleys and the vales as he made his way back. And he was by himself, preparing for the next greatness of his life. You know, when we talk about that, it's so big and so ominous, and we can feel it, we can see it, we can go, wow, that was so cool. And then when we talk about us, what do we feel? We're so little. We're so little. None of us is growing right now to make a big demonstration, crucifixion of that equality. But do you realize that every demonstration of your soul, every step you take, silly songs are okay, simple songs are okay, that's big for me. It's huge. It's big for me. The redesigning of my soul to become what it needs to be is big for me. And if we as a people don't start taking these steps for our own spirits, will we ever be on the journey of manifesting the Christ? We come to church every Sunday. We're here to follow the way and the teachings of Jesus the Christ. We love, we go out and do the best we can. We're good, we give, we're generous. We're trying to prosper, we're trying to be creative. But are we really letting ourselves take those steps we need to take to be bigger? That's the growth that we need. That's following his path. He didn't do the same thing from start to finish. It was evolution. He evolved in his knowledge and awareness, in his giving and his gifts. And his mission evolved. And each one of us has come to the earth with a mission. I sound like I'm preaching, don't I? Each one of us comes to the earth with a mission. We do. We do. We do. And you know, it's okay. Would you be content if you crossed over tomorrow? Most of us would. Some of us wouldn't. But if the answer is no, then get on it. Get on it. And for me, I would be content. I'd be okay. It wouldn't be my choice. But don't you think I want to cross 3 or 4 versions of me down the road? Cindy this, Cindy that, Cindy greater, Cindy greater. I want to cross there. I want to cross there. I want to take the limits off my expression in the outer. And the only way to do that is to take the obligation off my expressions in the outer. Now, you may not have a vacation coming up to take this time to unwind. But you know what you could do? You could take a week of healing, where you just say to your friends, spouses, family, I'm healing. Nothing out of my mouth will be held against me. I'm going to meditate as much as possible. I'm going to go in and get a Reiki. I'm going to get some healing work done. And I'm going to set this week for my intention to release that which no longer serves me. How hard is that? Then the following week, you could actually schedule it. I'm going to go rearrange my DNA. All my spiritual DNA chips that are just waiting to take me into something bigger. And every morning, you could wake up expecting, this week, I'm going to get brighter. This week, I'm going to find something else I want to say. This week, I'm going to see myself bigger. The third phase of all of this is the re-emerging of you back into your world. And when you do these things, people may not recognize you at first, but they will like you better. Bringing the gifts into the world that you have rediscovered within you helps everybody. Everybody. All of our lives lift. If one lifts, we all lift. If I be lifted up, bring all men unto me. If one lifts, we all lift. We help the whole. Well, this was supposed to be a really fun, light, happy service. Are y'all feeling fun and light and happy? Every time there's a part of you that seeks to be expressed and that seeks to be born, there is somebody waiting for it. Somebody's waiting to receive what you have to give. Somebody out there is just waiting for you to take your place. And we're waiting for them. So let's just take a moment to start this renewing process. Put your feet on the floor. Father, Mother God, I ask that your love just enfold each one here today. And I ask that a beautiful column of light come over each. And I would invite you just to feel this light just as it engulfs you. Notice the color that you have. And at some level, you have chosen that color. Breathe it in and feel. And I want you to imagine you can feel the presence of Jesus Christ standing by your side. And just take him by the hand. And I want you to lift up that column of light now. Going with the Christ, lifting up, not so very far, just above, into a beautiful space of peace. And as you enter the space of peace, you will just feel the softness. Your body will relax. Whatever vision comes is absolutely perfect for you. And be aware in this celestial space of peace, there is no obligation that you carry. Take a deep breath and breathe in the peace. And in this moment now, you can ask that this peace move through the energy pattern of your world. I ask that this peace begin to fill every thought and pattern that I have. And you felt your body relax, now you feel your spirit relax. And I want you to look in the eyes of the Christ. See the great love for you and hope. And I want you to ask a simple question. Who am I next to be? Who am I next to be? Just listen to the answer. You may just get a feeling, an energy. But I want you to feel a beautiful stream of greatness coming to you. Feel a stream of being bigger than you are. Expansion, light. And feel that love. Feel the love moving from your heart as it matches the love all around you. And realize you are safe in the heart of God. And as you breathe, you are at peace. And breathe that greatness into your heart for inspiration. And very gently become aware of your hand in the hand of Christ. And just very gently let yourself come back down that column of light. No urgency, just moving gently down until you find yourself back in your chair. Before you open your eyes, feel your energy vibrating. Feel a sweetness in your field. And look and notice that the Christ is still by your side. God, I ask that each one here feel that beautiful guidance to their greater self. That as they go forth this day, your love and your heart fills them. I thank you that we can be beautiful beings of love on this planet. We love you, God. And so it is. Take a breath. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes.